नमस्कार दर्शक महानुभावहरू, नमस्कार आदरणीय दर्शक मित्र बन्धुहरू, लगानीकर्ता साथीहरू। आज पनि रिच ड्याड पोर ड्याड बुकको लर्निङ र लिसनिङ प्रोग्रामको अन्तिम एपिसोड यानि कि 19औं एपिसोड सुरु गर्न गइरहेको छु र हजुरहरूले पनि यो अन्तिम एपिसोड अब इङ्ग्लिसमा सुन्नुहुन अनुरोध छ र यसपछि भने हामी भोलिदेखि नेपालीमा सुरु गर्नेछौँ है त। अनि अर्को कुरा, अब हामी यो कार्यक्रम सुरु गर्न जाँदैछौँ। Here we are continue our last episode of the Rich Dad Poor Dad learning and listening program. Here we are going to start the 19th episode of the Rich Dad Poor Dad book learning and listening program. Here we are going to start now.
Robert Kiyosaki, Sharon Lecter. About the authors Robert T. Kiyosaki. The main reason people struggle financially is because they spent years in school but learned nothing about money. The result is, people learn to work for money but never learn to have money work for them, says Robert. Born and raised in Hawaii, Robert is fourth-generation Japanese American. He comes from a prominent family of educators. His father was the head of education for the state of Hawaii. After high school, Robert was educated in New York, and upon graduation, he joined the U.S. Marine Corps and went to Vietnam as an officer and a helicopter gunship pilot. Returning from the war, Robert's business career began. In 1977 he founded a company that brought to the market the first nylon and Velcro surfer wallets, which grew into a multi-million-dollar worldwide product. He and his products were featured in Runner's World, Gentleman's Quarterly, Success Magazine, Newsweek, and even Playboy. Leaving the business world, he co-founded in 1985 an international education company that operated in 7 countries, teaching business and investing to tens of thousands of graduates. Retiring at age 47, Robert does what he enjoys most: investing. Concerned about the growing gap between the haves and have-nots, Robert created the board game Cash Flow, which teaches the game of money, here before only known by the rich. Although Robert's business is real estate and developing small-cap companies, his true love and passion is teaching. He has shared the speaking stage with such greats as Og Mondino, Zig Ziglar, and Anthony Robbins. Robert Kiyosaki's message is clear. Take responsibility for your finances or take orders all your life. You are either a master of money or a slave to it. Robert holds classes that last from 1 hour to 3 days teaching people about the secrets of the rich. Although his subjects run from investing for high returns and low risk, to teaching your children to be rich, to starting companies and selling them, he has one solid earth-shaking message. And that message is, awaken the financial genius that lies within you. Your genius is waiting to come out. This is what world-famous speaker and author Anthony Robbins says about Robert's work. Robert Kiyosaki's work in education is powerful, profound, and life-changing. I salute his efforts and recommend him highly. During this time of great economic change, Robert's message is priceless. About the authors Sharon L. Lecter. Wife and mother of 3, KFA, consultant to the toy and publishing industries and business owner, Sharon Lecter has dedicated her professional efforts to the field of education. She graduated with honors from Florida State University with a degree in accounting. She joined the ranks of what was then one of the Big 8 accounting firms, and went on to become the CFO of a turnaround company in the computer industry, tax director for a national insurance company and founder and associate publisher of the first regional women's magazine in Wisconsin, all while maintaining her professional credentials as a CFA. Her focus quickly changed to education as she watched her own 3 children grow. It was a struggle to get them to read. They would rather watch TV. So she was delighted to join forces with the inventor of the first electronic talking book and help expand the electronic book industry to a multi-million-dollar international market. Today, she remains a pioneer in developing new technologies to bring the book back into children's lives. As her own children grew, she was keenly involved in their education. She became a vocal activist in the areas of mathematics, computers, reading and writing education. Our current educational system has not been able to keep pace with the global and technological changes in the world today. We must teach our young people the skills, both scholastic and financial, that they will need not only to survive, but to flourish, in the world they face. As co-author of Rich Dad Poor Dad and the Cash Flow Quadrant, she now focuses her efforts in helping to create educational tools for anyone interested in bettering their own financial education. Epilogue. How to pay for a child's college education for $7,000. As the book draws to a close and approaches publication, I would like to share a final thought with you. The main reason I wrote this book was to share insights into how increased financial intelligence can be used to solve many of life's common problems. Without financial training, we all too often use the standard formulas to get through life, such as to work hard, save, borrow and pay excessive taxes. Today we need better information. I use the following story as a final example of a financial problem that confronts many young families today. How do you afford a good education for your children and provide for your own retirement? It is an example of using financial intelligence instead of hard work to achieve the same goal. A friend of mine was griping one day about how hard it was to save money for his 4 children's college education. He was putting $300 away in a mutual fund each month and had so far accumulated about $12,000. He estimated he needed $400,000 to get 4 children through college. He had 12 years to save for it, since his oldest child was then 6 years of age. The year was 1991, and the real estate market in Phoenix was terrible. People were giving houses away. I suggested to my classmate that he buy a house with some of the money in his mutual fund. The idea intrigued him and we began to discuss the possibility. His primary concern was that he did not have the credit with the bank to buy another house, since he was so overextended. I assured him that there were other ways to finance a property other than through the bank. We looked for a house for 2 weeks, a house that would fit all the criteria we were looking for. There were a lot to choose from, so the shopping was kind of fun. Finally, we found a 3-bedroom 2-bath home in a prime neighborhood. The owner had been downsized and needed to sell that day because he and his family were moving to California where another job waited. He wanted $102,000, but we offered only $79,000. He took it immediately. The home had on it what is called a non-qualifying loan, which means even a bum without a job could buy it without a banker's approval. The owner owed $72,000, so all my friend had to come up with was $7,000, the difference in price between what was owed and what it sold for. As soon as the owner moved, my friend put the house up for rent. After all expenses were paid, including the mortgage, he put about $125 in his pocket each month. His plan was to keep the house for 12 years and let the mortgage get paid down faster, by applying the extra $125 to the principal each month. We figured that in 12 years, a large portion of the mortgage would be paid off and he could possibly be clearing $800 a month by the time his first child went to college. He could also sell the house if it had appreciated in value. In 1994, the real estate market suddenly changed in Phoenix and he was offered $156,000 for the same house by the tenant who lived in it and loved it. Again, he asked me what I thought. And I naturally said sale, on a 1031 tax-deferred exchange. Suddenly, he had nearly $80,000 to operate with. I called another friend in Austin, Texas who then moved this tax-deferred money into a mini storage facility. Within 3 months, he began receiving checks for a little less than $1,000 a month in income, which he then poured back into the college mutual fund that was now building much faster. In 1996, the mini warehouse sold and he received a check for nearly $330,000 as proceeds from the sale, which was again rolled into a new project that would now throw off over $3,000 a month in income, again. Going into the college mutual fund. He is now very confident that his goal of $400,000 will be met easily, and it only took $7,000 to start and a little financial intelligence. His children will be able to afford the education that they want, and he will then use the underlying asset, wrapped in his C corporation, to pay for his retirement. As a result of this successful investment strategy, he will be able to retire early. Thank you for reading this book. I hope it has provided some insights into utilizing the power of money to work for you. Today, we need greater financial intelligence to simply survive. The idea that it takes money to make money is the thinking of financially unsophisticated people. It does not mean that they are not intelligent. They have simply not learned the science of making money. Money is only an idea. If you want more money, simply change your thinking. Every self-made person started small with an idea, then turned it into something big. The same applies with investing. It takes only a few dollars to start and grow it into something big. I meet so many people who spend their lives chasing the big deal, or trying to amass a lot of money to get into a big deal, but to me that is foolish. Too often I have seen unsophisticated investors put their large nest egg into one deal and lose most of it rapidly. They may have been good workers, but they were not good investors. Education and wisdom about money are important. Start early. Buy a book. Go to a seminar. Practice. Start small. I turned $5,000 cash into a $1 million asset, producing $5,000 a month cash flow in less than 6 years.